What we see on social media, especially TikTok, are people of a belief system trying to mock opposing belief systems or outlooks, therefore shaming and guilting them. And it's a lot of name calling. So one side will call the other side a conspiracy theorist, and then the other side will call the original side sheep. And through this immature name calling, we come to greater division. So while we may believe that our objective is peace on earth, it's not. Because our true objective is to humiliate the other side into thinking like us, even though we're dishonest with ourselves, believing that we have a grasp of the full truth. We never have the grasp on the full truth. We never have all of the information at our fingertips, yet we never acknowledge that. If all of the knowledge in the world was an ocean, all we know is a drop in that ocean. We hardly ever recognize that we don't know 99% of a situation or of a person that we judge. Of any situation we judge, we oftentimes judge without all the facts and all of the truth, and yet we make the judgment anyway. Now that's not the most mature way. That's the birth of war. Any sort of conflict in which oppositions are mocking each other, that's war. Now that's inherent in being human. I oftentimes hear this, that America has never been so polarized. But democracy depends on polarization. That's why you have opposing political parties with differing ideologies. And America has always been polarized. There's this little thing called the Civil War. Before that, we had the Revolutionary War. 30% of the population of the 13 colonies conspired against the monarchy and fought back, initiated revolution. Through that, forged a new nation of freedom and democracy. From the 1780s and 90s right to 1860, when the Civil War occurred, there was this polarization between the people who believed in slavery and who believed in abolishing slavery. So there was 70 to 80 years of stark division, which became more and more pronounced as the decades rolled into 1860, when the southern states broke free and triggered a response from the North, which became the Civil War. After which, there was always polarization about women's rights, women's right to vote, blacks' rights to vote, division, opposition, polarization. Into World War I, whether the U.S. should enter the war, most of the population was against intervening in the European War. Until 1917, it took 3 years, but there was a raging debate. World War II, same thing. The American people did not want to get involved, so there was great polarization there. Then we know the polarizations of the 1960s, where we saw the civil rights movement, feminism, civil rights for blacks, so that Rosa Parks didn't have to sit at the back of the bus. So there's always been polarization. It's how we handle our own polarizations within us, our natural instincts versus our moral high grounds. So we struggle with our own truths and falsehoods, and in each human is polarization. So once you get a grasp on how to handle your own polarization, then you can talk to other people, understanding their internal struggles and polarizations. And instead of trying to get people to think like you and to believe like you by guilting and shaming them, which you know is hurtful, it's a form of violence against someone's spirit, we should seek to understand why people feel the way they do, therefore affirming people versus guilting and shaming them. Then they feel supported. They don't feel like they've been manipulated into abandoning their beliefs, but that they've been heard, and that they can then acknowledge that together we have to exist without guilt and shame as a motivator to move forward.